most people in India. All right, fantastic. So today I'll jump in straight into the topic. We have with us the story of a storm. Now, why do I call it a storm? It's a storm in the making because we are having lots and lots of success stories from Aaradhya. We have success stories from many other leads, and we are very excited about. In Aaradhya does a lot of teaching and training during the weekends, so we thought that we could use the opportunity. Let's say on Thursday or a Wednesday, a lot of people had said that. In the nights, or if you can connect us, talk to us about some inspiring stories, give us some more feedback, it'll be great. So based upon the feedback, I invited Aradhya to uh, to share the success story of one of his students, and we'll have many more such stories. I mean, we have done lots and lots in the past, and we do many more. For those of you, some of you may be new, so for those of you who are new, let me say a couple things about Aradhya. Aradhya is a practitioner, a cloud architect, and a teacher. Aradhya has been in the industry when Azure was not even uh, when for example Microsoft Azure was not even called Microsoft Azure. It was called Windows Azure back then. So he started his career from the Air Force. I'm going to give you a brief one. I'm not going to give you a speech on this. He's been started his career from Air Force, moved on to IT industry where he traveled the globe, particularly Malaysia, Singapore, etc. From there, he worked with multiple consulting companies. He worked for a lot of top names, including Microsoft, and I think another EY, right?
Yeah.
So, so from there, he had a pretty interesting career. So he's battle tested. Think of him like a colonel in the army who's battle tested, who has taught thousands of people, who has consulted with the top industries. So, this is the kind of person that we want to bring to the COE to train the students. We didn't want to pick up somebody random from YouTube or somebody random from Instagram, somebody who does a lot of posting about, hey, follow me on Instagram. Here are 5 questions on what is Azure or what is SQL or what is this basic questions, or here is my PDF from Telegram. So we are trying to bring you real people, real stories, and people that have struggled. Each of each of these people who will be featured in our hero stories, these are people who were once in your shoes. They were they were as they came from different backgrounds. They came from IT backgrounds, they came from non-IT backgrounds. So regardless of the backgrounds they came from, their own hard work plus Aradhya's mentoring has led them to success. So Aradhya, I invite you um, to share with us your story from of today. Whom are you introducing, and then we'll talk a little bit about I'll be the host, and I'll be asking some initial questions that you and I have been receiving, and Akriti and many other leads have been receiving on this topic in the COE. We will also pause in between to give audience a chance to ask their own questions. People can write it in the chat box, or they can unmute and speak when the when I've asked when we've covered the basic questions uh, with the audience. So I can see some interesting slide, Aradhya.
Yeah.
So talk. Let's. I'll not speak too much because people are here to see our people are here to see you. People are here to see your success stories. So let's give them that. So go ahead, Ardha.
Okay, thank you, Arun. Thank you very much for giving such a wonderful opportunity. So, guys, what I'm planning to start with my introduction. Then slowly, what we'll move, we'll invite some of the members, some of the professionals who would learn the cloud on right time, and we will discuss with them how exactly they started their journey with the cloud computing and where and what they are doing. Prior to the cloud training, how was the situation, and currently as they are cloud working cloud professionals available in market, so what is their current situation? So guys, I'll start with myself. So as most of you know, my name is Aaradhy Singh. I started my career with the Indian Air Force, building a strong foundation in discipline and technical skill. As in beginning, Arul told, I'm having that around or nowadays close to 2 decades of IT experience and providing this type of training and certification since last 12 plus year. I'm providing training Microsoft Azure Cloud Computing training when in Pan India there was hardly 5 to 10 traders available. So far, I have trained thousands of candidates across the globe. My main focus is towards the cloud training, solutioning, architecting, developing, and providing the solution to the organization to adopt the cloud technologies. So this is about myself. Now, here we have, as I'm beginning, I told you guys, we have multiple guests today. So what I want to start with one of very special guest name is Sudhanshu Manitripathi. So Sudhanshu, are you there?
So, guys in the audience, we want to give you a big. Let's welcome them with a big cheers. I want to see some emojis. I want to see some life in the room.
Thank you, Arad. Thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity to join this session. So, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you,
Yeah.
Yes.
Sudhanshu.
So,
Who are so before we begin with him, who are our other guests today?
So
Do we have
yeah,
any more?
so
Okay.
we have Sudhanshu.
Mhm.
We have Ashish Ranjan. Sudhanshu is working in one of the premium companies. He is working one of the best or best company in aviation industry. This is world
Mhm.
biggest aviation company in IT
Wow.
industry. And
Okay.
similarly, we have another professional who is working in Microsoft, another professional who is from Noida location. And
My God. So today we are killing it. I mean, we have like four people in a row, one after the other. And
yeah,
I thank, these guys were picked up randomly because we have had so many success. It's becoming difficult for us to like pick up one name or the other name. So we have picked up four people who have who have made it and who will talk to you today. Um, so let's get started with Sudhanshu. Sudhanshu, do you mind introducing yourself in one or two lines, and then from that point on, I can ask you some basic questions.
okay.
yeah, Sudhanshu, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. So, thank you, Arad, for just giving me opportunity to join this session. And so, guys, I'm Sudhanshu Tripathi, and with 15 years of experience in the IT industry. So currently, I'm working at a Sopra Steria. It's a French-based multinational company. So currently, so my company generally deal with the aviation industry. That there are so many clients like Airbus, EasyJet. Okay, so there are too many clients that I already associated with the. Okay, so guys, here just I want to share my success story with you today. So you have already you might have already heard lot of story. Okay, there people were turned their dreams into a reality. So here just I'm sharing it's after COVID 19. I think no, it's around in 2021, around 3.5 years ago. I was working as a developer. Okay, but I didn't see much growth in my career. So the experience was increasing, but the company expected more from me. So I thought if someone else with 5 to 6 years of experience can do the same work as a me, then what is the difference between us? Okay, so how can I stand out? So that's when I decided to upgrade my skills and joined the cloud computing course with Aaradhy sir. So so if I talk about Aaradh sir, so his way of teaching was really amazing. So he focused mostly on practical learning, Around 90% of the course was hands-on, and he shared lots of practice workbooks, interview questions that really helped me prepare well. So, guys, there are many Azure training classes today now in the market, and you just, I think, initially I heard someone just told you will get lots of messages, yeah, lots of uh, things on a social media site that's related to uh, Azure classes, some and other things. But the way Aradhya teaches is truly different. So if students follow his guidance properly, I believe they can definitely clear the interviews, guys. So after
So
completing,
yeah,
yeah,
so let me ask you. And this is a very good insight. I mean, thank you for showing confidence in Aradhya and COE. But let me ask you some very basic questions. So you said that you started a career as a developer, and you looked at the industry trends, and you were clever enough to or smart enough to discuss it with mentors, and you decided to take the training. Now,
correct.
now, as you start with the training, of course, you found the exercise practical and all that, and we understand all that about COE. Now, um, let's say when a person start, they are doing a 9 to 5 job. In your particular case, you're doing a, let's say, a 9 to 5 job. So, how did you decide? Uh, how many hours per day did you decide? Because say whenever somebody sets a goal, they decide na कि I will I'll commit to 1 hour every day or 3 hours in the week, or everybody has a different plan. So what was your plan?
So yeah, you're correct, Arun. I think everyone has a different plan. I generally follow Aradhya sir. Whatever he teached, I always share his video and do the practice. Okay, and after that, I generally spend 1 hour, yeah, 1.5 hour more on just explore whatever he teached. Okay, so daily I spend 1.5 more apart from seeing his video. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
See, lot these days, a lot of people are on YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, XYG, and a lot of people always say, "I'm going to ask you random questions because this is not like a prepared,
Yeah,
rehearsed
yeah.
session or something. This is like random questions, and this is like everybody can ask their questions later on in the same manner." So one question is coming to my mind is, like I talked about YouTube, Insta, and all these things, and I think I've mentioned in many seminars. When somebody is new, they go to YouTube and Insta, they try to figure out, where can I learn this new technology? I'm hearing a lot about it, and it's going to take over the world and blah blah. um, they get
Correct.
excited, and they
Yeah.
they get they get in the traps of self-styled YouTube heroes and gurus who do not have hardcore battle tested experience, who are not able to share with people real life industry grade questions, who are not able to answer questions in an interview themselves, forget their students. So so how did I mean, as you were doing the course, if you found it easy with the real time practical examples, but it was new to you, we should not forget the challenges. It was new to you, so you uh, must have, after every topic or every Azure service that was taught to you, you must have had certain uh, certain challenges and certain questions. How do you go about addressing them?
Yeah, see, best thing I found in Aradhi sir that whenever I pinged him, whenever I faced the challenge, okay,
Hmm.
I just put the message on him, sir, I'm facing this issue. So whenever he is available, just he replied me. So initially, same thing, just you told, I was very confused that who is the right one there
Hmm.
I can approach. Okay, so there are lots of question because there are lots of trainer in market right now.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so just I got the free reference of Aradhya from one of my friend. Okay, And even I talked to multiple trainers, okay, but when I talked to Aaradhy sir, then and he explained all the things, then I decided to go with him, okay. Even when I got 2 or 3 demo classes, I believe, and when I put the questions even at a basic level, and with the way he explained me, really it was amazing, and he impressed me to just move with him.
Got it.
Even I have right now just I have completed his course. Even I am also, whenever I face an issue, when I ping him, he replied whenever he available. Okay,
Gotcha.
yeah. So so what I was saying,
So, so,
after complete.
so when somebody learns through the development, admin, the architect tracks, can you let me know? Let's say I'm a graduate. Let's say I'm a BCom, BSc, or BTech, or whatever basic graduation I've done. Now, what I want to do is, um, I, when I'm facing the interviews, I'm jumping to the interview spot because a lot of people, many people have asked us this. How do you start preparing for interviews? Let's say I finished the course and I know that I there are more than 30 titles, there are more than 30 type of opportunities that one can apply to in is and I looked at LinkedIn.com or Naukri.com or other places, many opportunities are flooding the market. Now, the question to you is, what was your strategy in preparing for the interviews?
Uh, Arun, I didn't do any special, honestly speaking. Whatever Aaradhy sir or sir teach me, I generally follow his video. He shared lots of useful practice book. I followed that. He shared lot of interview questions. I followed that. That's in a way I really it's really helped me to prepare well. Okay.
Oh, so in other words, he was a one-stop solution where he could have practice and interview questions and all those kind of things. He kept on discussing the scenarios. So that's pretty nice. So once you finish the course, I know you did some time back. So once you finish the course, how were you able to transition from a developer role to a Azure based role, whatever that role is called now, because there are so many titles. Um, so if somebody asked you in the interview that they ask two questions: why did you move from developer to Azure, or they ask you, um, uh,
See, right now I told, see, if I work as a developer role, okay, so
hmm,
and having around 15 years of experience right now, and
hmm,
if someone having a 6 years of experience can do the
hmm,
same work, then what is the difference between us? Okay,
right,
then definitely
right.
if people having a more experience, okay, then definitely he have to show something different to just get the promotion, to get the good hike, to survive in the
Right.
market. Okay,
I know,
so
I know. I know you're absolutely right. So as a lead of the COE, one of the things that's happening is many people are coming to us and saying, "Sir, we did the foundational technology. We did a foundation in SQL. We did a foundation in Java. We did a foundation in C++. We did a foundation in Excel, SQL. Whatever that foundational technology was." Regardless of whether you're an analyst, engineer, scientist, and database developer, these are the people who are mostly reaching out to us, but we are also having people from multiple domains. And these people are saying, sir, because things are moving to the cloud, either I've had people from multinationals within the US and outside are saying, sir, I got laid off, can you help me? Or I want to upskill, can you help me? And I'm like, we are seeing so many of them, people at different levels. So people who are 5 year uh, below 5 years, they're asking us, I want to upskill because I want to get promoted. People who
correct.
are seniors, who are like 15, 16 years of experience, they are saying, hey, We thought that our life was comfortable and we were doing great. Based upon our smartness or intelligence or knowledge, we were able to secure great opportunities. But now, after having worked with 2 or 3 places for 5 to 10, sorry, more than 10 years, we are at a plateau. Neither our salary is increasing and we are having issues of job security now. So
Correct.
people, so in other words, people at different levels are having different kind of challenges. And we have a group called Global Career Services Group, where we advise people for free, literally. We do their LinkedIn optimization, resume optimization, guide them completely, and they are a changed person. The before and after picture, many people tell us they will not recognize their own before and after picture after having talked to us or after having seen our work. So anyhow, getting back to uh, your thing, so you had like some experience and you wanted to uh, make sure you're remain competitive against the industry demands. Now when you look at Azure, you learned lots and lots of services, right? So for your particular need at that point of time, what areas of Azure or which services were you asked most questions from? Because as you know, people can be asked questions from anything if you
Correct.
in Azure, right? Based upon the
Correct.
so in your particular interview, where did they focus most on? And that's my question number one. And I'm going to ask you a follow-up question too.
Okay, so generally, what I analyze people, interviewer used to ask question related to API management, blob storage. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
and mostly they focused on other things like if you are going in a admin role, then it's related to networking. Okay, okay, and logic apps, function apps. So generally also today now even I sometimes I take an interview, then I also put the questions related to all these topics. Even I am in
Wow.
panel of, yeah, in interviewer panel also.
Fantastic. So once you were a student, just like everybody else in the audience, so you were yourself a student, and now you are sitting on interview panels, interviewing other people. Wow, awesome. Um, so so when for a typical interviewer, whether it is you or somebody else, or you have seen from when interviews are asked, does somebody have a paper of definitions? What is Azure? Define this, define blob storage, define this service. Do they have simple definitions like this, or do they ask scenario
No,
based
no, no. It's
questions?
a scenario
Really?
based question, really. Yeah. Today,
because,
it
because
it it was
I
it was 10 to 12 years ago when we were as a fresher or something like what is the definition of this one. But when gradually you are getting more experience, then definitely interviewer will ask the scenario based questions, some security related questions. Okay,
exactly.
like some troubleshootings.
Because the reason I ask this question is because there's a pain point that majority of our students are having, and more than them we are having that.
Sure.
because because we see everybody's writing on LinkedIn and Insta, they're saying, here are my 5 questions, short success. Here are the one night stand with me. Have a one night stand with me. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm being very blunt. Have a one night stand with me where you take this PDF. That PDF has questions like, what is Azure Blob Storage? What is this? What is this? And what is the basic definitions? And I look at those, and so many people are sending those to each other. They're putting that in our groups, and I delete them. After some time, I get so bored that I've started deleting them because they lack real industry questions. They lack
Correct.
the real type of questions that various domains are asking. Because even if you store 1,000 such PDFs, and you think, oh my God, I have become rich. I've got these PDFs. Now I'll become the best in the interview. The first interview I'm going to give, somebody's going to come running to me, give me 50 lakhs, 1 crore. They have a lot of these fake things are being spread by the edtech academies, by the by people at large who want to promote themselves. And we are absolutely different at the COE. We are totally against those kind of non-industry hardcore stuff. Okay, so if you had tips, let's say there's a beginner coming to you and you want to give him tips about uh, interviews or how to be successful at interviews, or even before that. So I'm asking two questions in one.
Yeah.
Part A of the question was, how should I, if I join a course, how should I study? And question number two is, okay, once I've studied, what is the tip for me for preparing for interviews? What would you say?
Okay. See, uh, when when someone join Aaradhy sir, honestly speaking, you don't have to do anything special. Okay. Only we need to follow whatever he teach. Okay, whatever video he shared. Okay, because see, whenever he teaches, he always take a huge cases. Suppose if I take an example, suppose he teach about blob storage, and whenever he goes to explain about the property, any property, then he never tells, no, this is the definition of this property. No, in which scenario this property we can use. Okay, so you guys really you will not get any queries after his class. Okay, because he solved all the question automatically. He covered all the topics automatic, all the topics, so that you will not confused after his class. So whatever he shared me, same thing I followed. Okay.
Got you. I understand. So, kabhi, lot of times, and I'll say it in Hindi, some people, who have language challenges. So, we have people, some people are not great with English, or some people
Correct.
are not great with, some people like, they come from different backgrounds. They say, sir, my English is decent enough. I can understand people, but sometimes when I'm sitting in interviews, they're asking some like, they're speaking very polished language, and my language is not polished, and I have a little inconfidence. So, will I be able, if I have average English or I have average Kannada, average Marathi, average this thing, will I be able to um, um, get my point across to the interviewer? Because I understand my technology well, but I'm not great at language. So इसको आप क्या बोल
Correct.
सकते हैं? Aradhy, you can also jump in, because I know a lot of people might be coming to you. Ki my Kannada is not good, my Malayalam is not good, my Marathi is not good, my this is not good, that is not good, and or my,
So
especially English is not good. So, do you think that being 10 out of 10 in English proficiency, or clearing TOEFL or clearing
uh,
IELTS becomes the standard?
I tell you one thing, what I feel nowadays in industry, 80 to 90% candidate or professionals have very good communication.
Hmm.
Communication doesn't mean that English. Communication means communication. Maybe you're using X or Y language. Uh, Nowadays, managers means who are going to manage the team or who are going to discuss with the customers are not getting better opportunity or better salary. Although they have the better English, but they're not getting a better salary. If a person who is technical, they are getting much better opportunity, much higher salary. Doesn't matter whether the
Right.
communication is English is very good or very bad. If they are good, I mean, technically, if they are good, then there'll be higher chances that their salary will be very high. In fact, I'll give the example of Microsoft. In Microsoft, a person who is working as a manager, another hand, another professional who is working on technical side. So normally, not normally, most of the cases, 99% cases, technical members are getting higher number of opportunity, higher number of calls, and higher salary also.
So if I'm just going to pick up somebody in the audience, for example, there's Ptolemy, right? Now, Ptolemy, I think I've spoken to few people who are in the audience. I can see Sanjay. Sanjay, is it Sanjay? Sanjay Chandra?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, great to see you here. So, guys, for those of you who do not know, Sanjay is an existing solution architect, and he has lots of industry experience. He's a Microsoft certified trainer, etc., etc., etc. He has lots of good thing behind him. But whenever what I learned from him, and he's also one of the COE members. He's been associated with some time. You have to remember that um, even after being an expert in many technologies, Sanjay decided to um, uh, be proficient in not only be proficient in Azure, but master it and teach it to other people. Right now, he's going to be in he's going to be helping Aradhya as a coordinator, as a guide. So he will be one more uh, set of eyes, one more set of helpers that will help you guys. He also has helped us in resume optimization, LinkedIn optimization for freshers. So those of you'll get to know him soon. I just want so Sanjay, if I ask you, because many people you've been in with us, you have spared some free times on weekends, etc. People have come to us and asked you uh, in Hyderabad, in Bangalore. Uh, so if you look at Bangalore people, the English is great. Sometimes for majority of the people, the English is decent now. Somebody coming from north, slightly lower. Somebody coming from let's say Palami here, right? She's a great person with a lot of knowledge. She's a great data analyst, but she comes from Bengal. So where I'm going with this is some people come from regions where there are lesser opportunities. They are not the tech hubs like Bengal, Kolkata is is a lesser tech hub than being in Bengaluru. Right now, some
Yes.
people have challenges with language. So, what has been your experience, Sanjay, um, about about helping these kind of people as a trainer and supporting our Azure efforts?
Yes, I mean, that's a very good question because a lot of times in interviews, sometimes what happens is even if you are well prepared, maybe because of nervousness or maybe because you are like very anxious, you may not be able to answer, even if you have good communication skills. And sometimes maybe your communication skills, when you are like, trying to articulate something, suddenly, let's say a scenario-based question comes, or suddenly, let's say a question is little tough, then suddenly the voice will go down and they'll be stuttering and all of this which will happen. So my suggestion when it comes to communication skills or even doing well in the interviews is, so first thing is you should have good command on the subject so that you'll be confident. And second thing is you should I mean, yeah, local language we all speak with our friends, family and everyone, but you should also try to speak to people who do not have common language with you so that you'll be forced to speak in English. Like you can interact with different members of the group who may not be aware of your local language. And also we have one group for business communication which is there you can practice, and we can and when you join sessions like this, probably you can ask some doubts, you can ask some questions, it will be an interactive session. That is another way to overcome your nervousness. And when it comes to gaining the fluency, what I would say is, let's say if you want to, let's say if you are going to prepare for an interview and if you want to go, even before you go for an interview, probably you can showcase your portfolio to other people, probably to freshers or probably to someone who is just getting started. So probably you may get a collective feedback from everyone, so that will give you like a warm up session. Probably you can start with, probably you can review your portfolio with me or with Arun as a starting point, then you can show it to broader audience. And you can even I mean, there are many good people in our group where you can have like a mock interview kind of thing. So you need to speak more and you need to practice more in different ways. It could be mock interviews, or you can record, let's say if you don't have anyone, you can even record your own voice and probably
So,
using voice recorder in your phone. And that is also a very good way. And there are also some tools which has come, like Google has an interview tool which is there, even that you can use. Even I have been testing this Gemini and even Chat GPT. They also have the voice feature. Chat GPT especially, you can ask the Chat GPT to be your assistant for speaking English, and it'll ask questions, you will answer something. I mean, there are plenty of ways to do it, but the most important thing is you should practice a lot, and you should have the command over that subject. Like you have to practice it enough so that you're confident about it, and once you're confident, then you have to practice speaking and articulating things. So that is what is going
Gotcha.
to really help you. And most important thing is you have to speak in that language. Like for example, let's say, okay, you are learning Azure, you should use that terminology. Like you should not speak like a normal person, you should actually
Hmm.
speak like a data engineer. That is what is going to make you stand out from rest of the crowd.
Right. So Sanjay, thank you. In very simple words, I think you've given us few of the 1,000 tips, and you have more than 10,000 tips in your head, right? But we have to get back to the
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the heroes as well. The second, but before that, let me ask you this, Sanjay. So you
yeah.
talked about communication styles. You talked about some tips, but many of the people, as a trend we have seen, they know that, and especially let's talk about the younger people. Like they are not married, they're slightly younger than. Now those people want to join Azure or want to join one of the greatest, like the in technologies, without which you have no other option. Well, you have limited options. I won't say no other, I would say limited options. If you want to get into a good salary bracket.
Yeah.
Now we already know, year after year, batch after batch, in the last 2 years especially, I've asked people in the global career services group that um, we did a graph trend analysis. We said, let's look
Okay.
at 5 metros. Let's look at Pune. Let's look at Bangalore,
Mhm.
Gurgaon, Pune, Hyderabad, uh, Kolkata, and few others. And I asked them to, and they do this work with me. We do it on the screen. They sort it out, and the trend is pretty similar. For example, it always shows up that Bangalore is on the highest. Bangalore has the most number of jobs, followed by maybe a Gurgaon, followed by
Mhm.
maybe a Pune, sometimes Hyderabad. So that it keeps changing sometimes, but we've seen Bangalore on the top. Now everybody can't rush to Bangalore,
Yeah.
but the point that I like to tell people is that initially be ready, be open in your mind for relocation. So whether it is your studies, right, whether it is your MBA or post graduation or whatever it is that you're doing, please do not stick to one place. If you've read the book Who Moved My Cheese, it will tell you that if your opportunities are drying up, if you are in a small state like Chhattisgarh, not state, if you're like a small place like Chhattisgarh, or if you're in Timbuktu, or if you're on an island, don't continue to remain on that island, because the world around you is very wide. Today we live in the age of aeroplanes, jets. We are not in the age of a we are not in the age where I'm in a remote village, remote island, where I cannot travel from one place to another. Because only when you build a strong foundation, regardless of where you build it, look for a great teacher, look for a great foundation, building a great foundation, and be open to relocation. That is a very strong message. Because if you keep being in, let's say Palami here is, if she wants to stay only in Bengal, I will stay only in Bengal. I will not move out of my house. The job that I want should be within 3 miles, and the salary that I want is 50 lakhs. And I'm just giving random examples, guys, but one has to understand that you have to look at your dreams of where you want to be, and you have to look at certain disciplines, certain sacrifices, certain things that you have to keep in mind based upon the expectations you have and based upon what the industry can offer in a particular area. That was one very important point. Keep your brain open. So, with that, let me get back to our. We'll take a small break from Sudhanshu. We'll go back to our other hero or other success story. Aradhya, who do you want
Yeah.
next?
So another is Ashish Ranjan.
Ashish Ranjan. So Ashish, welcome. So give us about, tell us a little bit about who you are, how you started your journey, and why do you choose Aradhya's, why Aradhya?
Okay, thank you, Arun. Thank you, Aaradhy, for the stage. Hi, everyone. My name is
And
Ashish.
I keep, Ashish, before Aradhya is going to beat me up. Every time I think when I announce his name, I mess it up. So it's Aradhya.
Aaradhy. Yeah, so I know a person whose name is Aaradhy as well, and he is also looking to come up in Azure. So
Gotcha.
I invited him to this call. He already joined that call, I believe. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I was talking to Aaradhy, like our mentor, about the other Aaradhy. Okay. So yeah. Anyways, my name is Ashish Ranjan. I am working with Microsoft right now. It has been 4 years. I have been working with Microsoft. I connected with Aaradhya in the year 2018. It was a very nascent year when Azure was in. Azure started developing. We got this resource group thing. Earlier, resource group don't used to be there in Azure.
Right.
Uh,
Mhm.
it was that kind of phase when I connected with Aaradhya. Frankly speaking, that time I connected with Aaradhya from Facebook. I was finding, I was working. I got placed in 2015 in a organization called Fujitsu, and there I was working as a support engineer with one of the syncing technologies. Okay,
So
and
at that point when you start with Fujitsu, it's a great name. It's a
yes,
great name. It's a brand name. It's just like it must have given you a good salary at that point of time. So what motivated you to look at Azure? Because people working in support roles, it's a great job, good money. You come back home, you can occasionally enjoy movies. You can do the things that everybody else does.
mhm.
You could have seen a lot of Instagram reels. You could have seen the latest greatest videos on Netflix. So what changed? What motivated you?
Yeah, see, I started see, as you said, like Fujitsu, it's a very good brand. So during my starting phase, Fujitsu showed me how to deal with your short-term goals and long-term goals. So I started seeing my long-term goal, and with the technology I was working, I didn't find myself anywhere. Okay, I find myself roaming in the market and finding a job. That's where I started searching many technologies. Okay, then long story short, I ended up with Azure. I started studying Azure. I was in that phase. See, I don't know anything about Azure. Okay, nothing, 0% knowledge. Then I started learning Azure. For some time, I did it by myself. YouTube videos. There was no other channel at that time uh, for such tutorial videos. Then I started searching. I just started joining random groups on Facebook and other social media platforms like LinkedIn. And then I found Aradhy's message. Like he is someone who is going to give, sessions on Azure technology. I was very happy. I called him up. Okay, we made the deal. I paid him, and we started. At that time, in our session, it used to happen in the weekends, and very few people were there. So we used to interact with him directly, and like before meeting Radhe, I was also trying to read about Azure. I was trying to do something on Azure by myself. So I was able to do creation of VM and all those other things. When I meet Aradhya, I saw the world is not only in creation of the VM. The Azure is like whole lot of ocean behind that. Okay, and like he started a lot of things, the PowerShell, uploading files to blob storage using PowerShell and all those stuff. And that was uh, that was a very great experience. He
Wow.
At that point of time in 2018, when world was not talking about migrations, we got to know the language migration. Okay, we heard it from Aaradhya, learned about it, few things. Then I started giving interviews. During that time, I was with one of the organization in Noida.
Mm. Yeah.
I was giving a lot of interviews in different organizations. Then I got selected in one of the organization again in Noida itself, and they were in verge of starting of one of the very large scale migration. Okay, so I just went there. I didn't have any practical knowledge of Azure. Only in the sessions I have done the practical knowledge and in my personal learning time. But industry-wise experience I didn't have. Okay, but the experience which I gained from Aaradhy is okay. I utilized that, and I just gave the first round of interview. Okay, how I reached that location. I was the first person to reach that location, and I was the first person to give the interview. You know what HR said? I gave the first round of interview, and I was thinking they will tell me, "You go back to home. We'll let you know." That's a generic feedback from the HR, right? So, to my surprise, he said, "Who is Ashish Ranjan?" I just stood up. I said, "Yes, I'm." So he said me like, "Okay, you have been selected for the round 2 interview." I was damn surprised. Okay, hey,
Yeah, because it happens because when the first time we are learning a new technology, we take an interview. Even if we make it, although we know that we have answered well, we've done reasonably okay, handling their questions, but sometimes we still feel, we keep our fingers crossed and we think, hoga, nahi hoga,
yes,
they'll
that
take me or not take me. It's a common thing to have. So I'm glad that you are mentioning that because I didn't want to come across as like we are some superheroes, some super gurus that we know everything about everything under the sun.
So I'll just quickly wrap this up. I don't want to bore all the peoples on the call.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
so again, I sat for the second round of interview, and I was definitely sure. Okay, like it's not going to happen. Second round I'll give, and I was happy that I cleared the first round of interview for the first organization I gave interview for Azure. Okay, so I was very happy about it. So second round of interview, frankly speaking, I was not confident. Okay, but anyways, I gave the second round of interview, and to my surprise, they liked it. Okay, and you know what HR said? So you were talking about regions and language. So it was Noida, and HR spoke in Hindi. He said, "Bhai, तूने बोनी बहुत अच्छा करवाया है आज."
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And I cannot. So it's almost like that stuff in Three Idiots. How much salary do you want?
Yeah.
Except, okay. So
Yes.
many people when they hear the word Microsoft, it's a dream for many people to get in the top organizations, be it any of the FANG, any of the big consulting names. So you have already gotten into one of them. So talk to us specifically about that. So you had previously been successful in other interviews based upon your knowledge and based upon mentoring, based upon a lot of factors, right? So now, when you prepared for Microsoft, what is was it any different from other interviews, or did you have to prepare harder? Talk to us a little bit about those kind of things.
Definitely. I'll take your word, Arun. So, you don't have to prepare harder, but though you have to prepare smarter. Okay.
Fantastic. I love what you said. But can you explain that for our audience? I get you. I'm 52 years old. I've been through every single one of them. So help me understand for the purpose of the audience.
Yeah. So, yes, I'll start it in a retrospective way. So, when I got the offer letter of Microsoft, at that time I was holding 9 other offers. Okay. That
9 other offers. So you were having a high confidence because you already have, regardless of whether you got it or not, you had 9 other offers in the bank because of your knowledge and skills.
Yes, that's correct. And you spoke my other sentence. I was about to talk about the confidence. So that confidence is a key. Okay, so you'll get the knowledge. See, today I'm sitting on the other side of the table. I'm not sitting to give interviews, but I'm taking the interviews in Microsoft. Okay, I reject a lot of people. I reject people from IITs as well, by the way. Okay,
Exactly. Because a lot of people, thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to say that a lot of people, some people think I'm from a tier 2 college, or I'm from, I got only 68% marks in my 10th standard or 12th standard or graduation, and they feel very inconfident of what's going to happen, even though I have the strong skill and knowledge. Will they even talk to me? So people have all kind of worries. So what do you look for? Let's say you are already in, um, if you're looking not at the degrees, like you just said about IITs and other things. While these are premium institutions, they are not the only criteria. So what criteria do you look for when you are on the other side of the table now and start taking interviews?
Okay. I'll start this with a phrase. Okay, Arun? So I'll tell you, you cannot be jack of all trades and master of all. So you have to learn one. You have to keep one of the niche with you. Okay, in Azure we have a lot of things. We have IS, PaaS, SaaS. If we bifurcate IS or any other services, then we have lot of services. We have virtual machines. We have virtual machine skill sets. We have networking resources. We have virtual networks, VWAN, express routes. There are a lot of things. So first of all, you have to be confident in one of them. Okay, you have to be very sure, very confident in one of them at least. And the other part is, if you don't know something, you don't know something. You don't have to give the wrong answer. Okay, see, we can hire someone and train them. Okay, in 1 month, 2 months. So technology is not a problem for us, right? So the real thing is, if you are learning something, if you are keeping a niche like maybe Azure or any services in Azure, then you have to be very great with that. That's a key. And again, confidence.
Gotcha. So having said that, because I have a lot of fun questions in my mind, but I let few audience members. So I'll like to start with somebody who's done, let's say, and maybe Sanjay, you can act like a student and you can lead everybody else in the audience. Tell us, and because the recording will be watched by so many people, and we have lots of people in the audiences, our groups who have done Excel, SQL, Power BI. They are basic data analysts. So from that, can you act as can you, based upon what you've seen, what you've heard in so many years, can you ask questions on to 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 our Ranjan here? Um,
Yes. Okay. So generally, when you're talking about interviews and all, what are the top three reasons why you reject the candidates?
Uh,
Most common reasons.
Yep. So the first reason I see, if that person is not confident, okay, because the kind of organization I'm working for, there could be any kind of work which can come. You are not being hired for a vertical, and this is not for Microsoft. This is for any of the organization you are going to work in Azure. Okay, so if you know VM, but you are not showing confidence in any other service, okay, it's a no hire for me, seriously. The second thing is, like how is the experience of that person, like how deep that person has read that particular topic, be it anything in Azure, DevOps, whatever. Okay.
do you come across people where you can easily make out if they've read from PDF on LinkedIn or Instagram, or can you easily make them out? How do you tell?
Yes. See, if people are reading out from LinkedIn, Instagram, first of all, I have gone through those questions already. That's why I'm like sitting and taking the interviews, right? And
So, somebody might laugh and say, "Oh, Ranjan sir is looking at these two, but he never looks at his Telegram." So I want to make sure that people understand that whether you are on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Telegram, the recruiters, the hiring managers, the professionals, they have seen they have seen it, been there, you know, so they will hear from Ranjan himself or Aaradhya himself on what do they see, and he's describing it beautifully, guys.
yes.
Please watch.
Arun, let me take it in a different way. Let's suppose there is some social media network we have not seen. You are 52 years old. I'm 31, 32. We are old enough, right? This is a time of Gen Zs, and very new people are there, and they know a lot of social media that we don't even know, right?
Right.
So suppose they are getting questions over there. Okay, it's so how do I find? Okay, how do I start my interview is, and like how I have seen in my previous experiences, the interview gets started. So they ask my day-to-day job, what I'm doing. Okay, that's the first thing where if you are reading some PDFs and all, you won't be able to.
Exactly. When you describe a day in the life of a data analyst or data scientist, data engineer, or Azure cloud engineer, Azure this and Azure that, unless you have done it and been in their shoes, he can easily make out. For example, if you ask me, Arun, can you describe a day in the life of a chef?
Mhm.
Until and unless I've been in the kitchen and cooked some dishes myself, and I've seen some challenges, I cannot speak one single sentence. Somebody can coach me, for example, a good communicator, they can coach me for one or two answers, but people have to know that the interviewers can smell it in seconds, not minutes. Seconds they can smell it, guys.
Yes. And I'll take one more example, Arun, in this case. Suppose we are talking about storage a lot. We talked about blobs and all. So suppose I'm interviewing someone, and maybe Sanjay I'm interviewing, and I asked a question to Sanjay, like, hey Sanjay, tell me something about blob storage. So
Hmm.
he read out whatever he has seen in that PDF. Okay.
Hmm.
So I got the gist, like he might be reading it out from somewhere because he is reading out that definition. Okay. So what my next question will be, okay, let's talk about encryption in the blob storage. Okay, now from there, and you'll see a critical point, and that graph will start coming down. So I'll talk about, and suppose he saw that question in PDF as well about encryption, like yes, it supports a customer managed key and a Microsoft managed key. Then I'll ask him, if I change the customer managed key, will I be able to see the blobs? He won't be able.
Okay, so you must have also seen, and I know Sanjay has seen a lot of them as a manager, as a architect. Aaradhya has been in the industry 10 years. He must have. We all have seen people that resort to desperate stuff. In fact, I wrote a meme where I said, please don't be desperate, please be upskilled, something like that I wrote. Anyhow, so the point I'm trying to make is, some people do lip syncing on interviews, some people will have you know all sort of tricks they apply, where somebody else is giving you an interview on your behalf, and you feel that, you know even if you make the first round, somehow there's some error, you made it. How do they get they usually 99% of times these people get caught pretty fast.
Yes,
So
that's
how do you make out, if let's say XYZ is the candidate, and somebody else is taking an interview for them? How do you find that out? Sanjay, you can also pitch in, because I know you also have seen these kind of people.
yep. So, lip sync.
Yeah.
We are able to find out easily. So like you get to know, like I can't explain this thing, but you understand, you understand that thing. Like if someone is sitting in front of you and they're lip syncing, you'll be able to catch up. Okay, now I'll tell you about a funny incident. It doesn't happen with the current organization, but the other organization I was working with earlier. There was
Right.
someone who was lip syncing. What happened for the next round? We called him in the office, and he was
Mhm.
like, the next one will be managerial one, and it would be easy one, like he got a job. And then we started asking the same question we asked in the interview.
Okay.
So that was something brutal with him. Okay, I feel bad about him, but yeah,
Yeah, I can imagine what happened to him. Sanjay, could you also throw in, like, let's say you're interviewing a candidate,
Oh
and
my God, so many experiences.
and this fellow, talk to us about couple typical things that people do, and how do you make them out when you probe them? How do you do that? Give me a couple examples here.
Yeah, I mean, before I give the example, one thing which I want to tell is, see, everyone writes very nicely on the resume. Okay, you can have some exaggeration that will always be there, but it cannot be so blatant, because
Yeah, I mean,
what
they
I
can they
see,
can they
huh,
can they
huh,
can definitely highlight a particular portion of their job.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Highlighting is different from misrepresenting them.
No, Arun, I'll tell you the reason why I brought this point even before I talk about the experiences, because ever since ChatGPT, Gemini has come, okay, quantification of resume, ATS, all this become easy. Now, even when you do a quantification, those numbers should be realistic, right? Like, for example, you cannot say that, okay, I have built a model which is 95% accurate. Then, for example, I can ask a follow-up question. What is the confusion matrix? What values did you get there? What is the ROC curve? Like, I can ask some follow-up questions. Like, so
Right.
the point which I'm trying to say is, these days it is becoming, I mean, earlier what used to happen is we would know the stupidity in the interview. Sorry to use these words, but now just by looking at the resume, it's very easy to make out that this person just copy pasted something somewhere, and it is easily visible because some metrics you really know, like how much you
I've
can
I've
improve or how much
I've
error
had
rate will be
I've
there,
had
etc., etc.
there was a data
Huh,
there've been some data analysts or other roles or SQL
huh,
developers who want to get into Azure, and when you ask them about a particular metric, somebody had said that
yeah,
because of my 2 month project that we did, it moved the needle by 45%, and I was like,
exactly.
oh,
Yes, that is
I
exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
in my mind I'm thinking, if you can move the needle of, let's say, a company like Microsoft by 45%, why are you not their CTO yet?
Yes, exactly. So this is the first point I want to say. Even before people speak out, just by looking at resume, I'm able to find out what this person has done. I mean, what kind of research he has done, from where. I mean, it's easy to make out. That itself these
Right,
days, because of Chat GPT, it has become easy. Okay, now coming
right.
to the experiences. So one thing which I noticed one thing which I generally do is during lip sync and all, if I feel that a person is lip syncing, suddenly I change my question to like college days or school days, like asking, okay, in which college you studied? What is your favorite subject? So who is your best friend? And why did you like that? And suddenly they don't know which college it is because they have, I mean, whoever is lip syncing, they'll have the resume. But any
Right.
personal question, if I ask, they have no idea. Sometimes I ask, oh, what does your father do? Is he retired? And suddenly I'll get the drift and I'll come back. So it's very easy. Suddenly that guy will be taken aback. I mean, see, if I'm asking family related question, very general question that too, they will be able to answer. I have found out many people just by asking one or two questions like this, asking which college you studied. And sometimes what I do in resumes, they don't put their CGPA, they don't put the details. Suddenly I ask, okay, how much did you get in this business design systems? Something I'll ask. That's it. That is one way in which people I can easily make out looking at their expressions. Second thing is, yeah, uh, like earlier we were talking. Yes, these days many companies are asking for in-person interviews. Even the first round will be virtual. Second round, many people are calling to the office. And when people get called into the office also, like sometimes, verbally, if someone has good communication skills and all, they can do. But at least in my experience, what I do is I'll just open my laptop and then I'll give a scenario to solve.
Yeah.
I think that's where everything will come out, because generally in virtual interviews and in other places, what will happen is if I ask them to show something hands-on, they'll say, "Oh, I don't have license, I don't have this, etc., etc." In office, definitely my laptop will be there. There'll be a
So,
sandbox
so,
environment.
so
It's
if
easy.
somebody comes to
Yes.
let's give one example. If somebody
Yeah.
comes to you saying, "I have Power BI knowledge and I have Azure knowledge
Hmm.
as well,"
Yeah.
now you're having round one, which is Power BI, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you ask questions like, "What is Power BI? Please tell me its components." What will you? Can you give me one example of what you might ask? One example. If assume that you are the interviewer and the candidate is a he looks great on paper. His ATS is 100%.
Hmm. Yeah.
Then what do
Okay.
you ask him to separate out the people?
Yeah. So first standard question will be, I'll ask him to walk through his work experience. That is the standard, I mean, the starting question. So as that person comes into the experience and all, then I'll pick up one of the projects or one of the experience points he mentioned. And then I'll ask, let's say if there is a metric, I'll ask, how did you arrive at this metric? Or I will ask something like, okay, when you are doing this particular project, what was the biggest bottleneck and how did you overcome that? Or sometimes I ask questions like, let's say you have given a time. I mean, you are sometimes I ask scenario based question. First, I'll focus on technical part, like asking very project specific or very subjective questions. Then slowly I'll move to scenario based. Like for example, okay, stakeholder said at this time, I mean, you are talking to stakeholder along with the project manager. They asked for a time frame. It is an urgent project. You have another you have another project which is in line. So what will you do
So,
in that situation? Like scenario based
got
situations also I ask, so that I will try to understand whether this person has really worked or not. Because many times what happens is sometimes people do a course, come, that is okay, fine, technically if they are sound it is okay. But I also try to see if that person has actually worked somewhere by asking these scenario based questions, so that I also know
gotcha.
that in what kind of environment they worked before. Because
So,
sometimes what happens is,
so hold on, Sanjay. So you have done you were an engineer once, sometime back,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Long back, you were an engineer. You got a gold medal in your MBA, and you have done hardcore work and practice, and you became a solution architect in your own right. You're a known Microsoft certified trainer and industry expert. Now, do you really think, go back? I wanted to forget your tag today. Go
yeah,
back to your student days, like
yeah,
let's say pre-engineering days, or even during second year, third year days. So uh, uh, where we did not have a lot of, and then I'm sure your batches must have had COVID during your MBAs and this and
yeah.
that, and, or after the MBA. The question I'm trying to ask is, uh, you also had you're not like so old like me, where I did not have even YouTube and did not have all this fancy stuff. Your generation, or your smart generation, had YouTube, Insta, LinkedIn, XYZ things. So you also must have seen all these kind of things just like everybody else. So how did you decide, let me get rid of this clutter and focus on this one thing? It could be even Excel, because I know that I recall from one of your seminars that you focused, when you are doing one thing, you focused so much on that one thing, that because of which the later technologies became pretty easy, although it was only Excel.
Yeah. Yes.
So how did you focus? How did you declutter?
Yes, yes. I think so. One of the things which happened because of social media or COVID or whatever is, there is too much of information everywhere. So right now it is like, let's say if you open news channel, they will say AI is taking over jobs. If you open, let's say LinkedIn, someone will say that, okay, learn data engineering. Some other person will say, probably you should improve your soft skills because that is not something which is easily replaceable. So you get a lot of advice, and there are a lot of mentors and a lot of YouTube channels and different kinds of information floating online. So first thing what I generally do is I will try to see, like I'll just go to websites like Naukri, LinkedIn, and I'll see which are the top demanded jobs, or like which vacancies are more, like different keywords I'll try to use to search. And I'll see, okay, let's say there is too many people asking for data scientist role or probably data engineer role. Then next, what I will do is I'll try to identify two or three skills which are very, very common. Like in these all these roles, okay, is DevOps common, or ADF is common, Azure Databricks is common, etc. Then what I will do is I'll try, because first we have to be clear about the job role, what we want to get into. Like for example, there will be like I mean, each job role has its own career progression. So first we have to narrow down our focus to one job role. Okay, do you want to be a cybersecurity analyst, or you want to be a front end developer, or you want to be Azure developer? So first you have to decide that. Second, once you decide what particular role you want, then go to, probably again, I mean, if you don't know what you want, again go to Naukri, check all the statistics. You will get a picture. Once you narrow down on that particular role, again go back to Naukri or LinkedIn and see which skills everyone is asking very commonly. And in those, you pick two or three commonly asked skills. And out of those two or three, start with the easiest one, probably to gain
Yeah.
some confidence. And
Hmm.
once you take that easiest skill, take your time, take 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, whatever time you want. Take some time and try to become little comfortable with it, and then probably do couple of projects on that, so that you will gain confidence. Like that will give you the familiarity with that UI, like how to navigate and everything. And
Exactly,
then just,
and we are seeing from the trends, and I keep writing about it, I speak about it. It's not that I love Azure only. In my
Yes.
particular case, I have vast certifications. Azure. I have multiple certifications, multiple different things, because I mean, of course, I've spent much more time
Yeah.
in the industry, uh, and in different profiles, I had different priorities. Right, I've had multiple priorities,
Yeah.
which slowly narrowed down. So the point I'm trying to make is, we are seeing, as COE leaders, we are seeing Azure across the board. It is
Oh my God,
required
the demand is like
pretty
crazy.
much everywhere, pretty much like everywhere. And that's why we try to call people like our heroes today. We have, now people have to understand that they were not born heroes. Nobody is a born hero, right?
Yeah.
We all have struggled, we all have seen life experiences, and and we have worked with our mentors to get there. So whether it is um, Ranjanji, whether it is Sudhanshu ji, whosoever is joining us, speak from their real experience, from their heart, right? That's very important. So are there
So
this
one
that's
correct.
why yeah, please have a comment, and then I would love to see if you have I didn't catch the name of our third guest. You can introduce him
Yeah,
also.
actually, he's from US and his meeting started, so I got a ping. But don't worry. So he's recommending to schedule the same for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to tell guys, in most of the cases, a person who is working support program, maybe L1, L2, L3, or L4, normally if you see the career growth opportunity or salary for the support engineers are very limited. For example, if your age is 40, 45, so there'll be very limited number of opportunity, or maybe almost no opportunity available for the support engineer.
Are there, it is not just support. You are absolutely right.
Hmm.
And I jump into it because of too much excitement that I have in my head, because or too much pain I have in my head. The pain is, I feel the pain of the students when they say, I went to support, I'm laid off. I'm an Oracle DBA. Can you imagine? I'm an Oracle DBA, 10 years, I'm laid off. From where? From companies like PayPal, from
Yeah,
FANG companies,
yeah, yeah.
because they have to look, the writing is on the wall. Once again, I'll say, guys who are listening to me in the recording, the writing is on the wall. If you have foundational skills, Excel, Power BI, so and so, support, a little bit of development here and there, the industry is changing. If you are not doing cloud, then you will not be able to stand confidently in the market. If you can, if you wait for 3 months, 4 months, or next year or 2 years later, then you are saying no to the money on the table today. When people say Azure is the future, guys, wake up, open up your eyes. Azure is not the future. Azure is the present. It has already happened. Take advantage of it now. I do not care, for frankly, if you do it from another expert. You reach out to expert and you've done it from them. But please do not fall for YouTube heroes, Instagram heroes, some average LinkedIn heroes. Work with somebody who's battle tested like Aaradhya. He's seen failures. Because one of the questions in the interview you are asked is, everybody can speak about their successes. You can talk about, Aaradhya will tell you, if you talk to him one on one, there are some failures. All of us have failures. Sanjay had failure, I'm sure. Sudhanshu must have had it, I'm sure. Everybody has had some failures. When I talk about failures, they may not be like big failures. They can be things like, as you matured, you learn to do things a better way. A better tool came out, a better feature of Azure came out. So are there, one of the things that that I have been very frustrated with Azure about, you know what, or with Microsoft or with anybody else, Amazon, or the technology is changing so fast that they're adding good new features, and the features which were there 5 years back are no. And Sanjay can talk about this also, or say yay if you feel it. If what I'm saying resonates with you, say Yahoo, yes. What is happening is every time I go to Microsoft site or other provider sites, they are introducing a lot of new stuff which is impossible to catch just by looking at YouTube or Insta. How you catch is working with instructor. Every time I try something, the interface of the site itself has changed. Earlier you used to call it by this name, now you call it by that name. Now earlier you integrated with one technology, now it is integrated with multiple other technologies. So is that happening to you, Sanjay? Yes, no?
Absolutely. If I have to give you one example, I mean, not just Azure, if I have to give you another example, which is related to
Exactly.
Microsoft, earlier everything used to be like Power BI workspace, Power BI service. Now everything changed to Fabric. And even in Azure also, earlier we used to have this AD group, something we used to say. Now it is
They call
now there is
Entra ID.
Right.
Intra ID
Yeah.
which has come. So
So
like that, there are so
exactly.
many developments which has come. And even when you talk about the technology as well, like there are like, for example, you have HD inside. Now you have Azure Databricks. Like that, I mean, see, there is evolution as well. Like even in the existing tools, there whatever things are there, they are becoming legacy. New things are coming.
And
Some
and
changes
which is
happen.
and which is why, Sanjay, thank you for acknowledging that, and which is why I say, unless I am learning, if I was, I keep telling, I joke with him all the time, although he's younger to me. I keep joking with him that I wish I had a mentor like Aaradhya when I was learning, because he would have I would have, instead of watching 2 hours on YouTube to figure out what is happening and find out crap, or watching Insta or watching Telegram or joining these self-styled gurus, if I'm fighting with a colonel who was once a soldier and became a colonel, and who's been in the battle every day, every moment of his life, he's been breathing Azure, will that person give me more knowledge, or will some Tom, Dick, and Harry from 2 years of here and 2 years there, and I'm a content creator, I'm a social media marketer, will I get more knowledge from him? That's a simple question.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And another thing, Arun, when it comes to like when you're talking about YouTube, oh my God, how many ads? I don't know. Now I'm watching videos in between ads, not the other way around.
Uh, Anyhow, so
True.
getting back to Aaradhya, and
Yeah.
so I'm sorry, we like we said, we never plan our sessions. So in the sense that we don't plan, we don't have a flow, we don't have we let it flow like a dialogue. And the gentleman from US who had to run for a meeting, he'll probably join us tomorrow, day after, or whatever,
Yeah.
and we can also call him for. But are there uh, when you were working with Ranjan, when you were working with Sudhanshu, what all things came to your mind? Like, because when people come to you, they come from different, diverse backgrounds. So how do you? And they will have different challenges. So how do you go about your course? How do you how do you cope up with this? Because if I was the instructor, if I was a fresh instructor who had 1 year experience, 2 year experience, or I was faking up on LinkedIn, or I'm faking myself on LinkedIn saying I have so many experience and I'm having fancy YouTube videos with great girls and great guys, but you have seen it all from the real experience.
Yeah.
So how do you cope up? How do you manage the different types of people?
Okay. So normally what happened in most of the cases, I'm getting calls from two different type of categories. One, where the person is already getting good salary, success, maybe salary structure is very high. And the second,
Mm,
where people are struggling. Maybe they are in support program, maybe they are developer, maybe SQL developer, .NET, Java, PHP, Python developer, VMware, SCCM, or maybe tester or working as a manager.
right.
Managers are also in the same category, guys. If anyone who is working as a manager, there's no future for the time being. If you're working as a technical manager, if you're working as an architect, you have great future. If you're
And
working as
so,
a
so, so,
manager,
so,
there's
so,
no future for them. Yeah.
so, so don't they ask you? I can see a slide that something you put on the screen,
Yeah.
which you
Make it
probably use for. So
correct.
don't they ask you like, well, after doing this, what kind of
Yes.
opportunities I might have, or
Correct.
because
So usually
uh,
they're asking.
yeah.
So one person who is just learning for the knowledge, suppose I'm getting very good salary. I'm just learning the cloud only for the knowledge. So usually they're not asking all these questions. They're just mainly focusing on the implementation. But at the same time, a person who is struggling in his career, normally they're asking, hey, I'm planning to move to US. I'm applying for the H1, or maybe I'm from this location, I'm from that location, maybe I'm from Chennai, I'm from Noida, I'm from Ghaziabad, I'm from Varanasi, or maybe Bangalore, Hyderabad, or UK, or from somewhere else. So, is there any opportunity available close to my location? Maybe lots of people who are working in Arabian countries, they're calling me, they're saying, hey, is it possible for me to move in cloud computing? Similar situation, if anyone who is from Ghaziabad, maybe Noida location, they also asking same question. So usually, guys, doesn't matter what your current location. If you're from United, first I'm talking about the prime location for the cloud professionals. If you're a cloud professional, so number one prime location, United States. If you are in United States, there are several varieties of jobs available, around 20 to 30 different type of jobs available in cloud. Means there's no single profile available. We have multiple type of profiles offered by industry. Depending your interest, depending on your requirement, you guys can choose and start your journey. If I'm talking about the salary structure, so second question people are asking, hey, if I'm planning to move in United States, what would be the salary structure for the cloud? So here, guys, I'm not talking about the minimum or maximum. Maximum you may get 300K, 250, or maybe 400K also. But guys, here I'm talking about the average number. So average number in United States somewhere between 130 to 190K. This is the average number. I'm not talking about the maximum. Maximum maybe you can get 250, 300 also. But
Yeah, it depends on the. So I can speak for US
Hmm,
based upon experience levels,
correct.
based upon the background, the experience level, the domain, and multiple other factors. It is people are. I'm not joking. If you just talk about what are some of the high salaries, 400 500K is pretty easy to make, but to get there you have to understand that you have to be an absolute expert in the field. You cannot just wave your hand and say, hey, I arrived in the US on H1B visa, and please give me 500,000 because I heard somewhere on YouTube from some hero that everybody gets 500K 400K. No, that's not true, guys. Don't. Even if you're a vendor through whom you're doing your OPT or H1 or EAD, please don't get fooled. And that's been my message. That's been Aaradhya's message, Sanjay's message, Ashok's message. Please talk to us in person to figure out, based upon a case by case basis, what is the best strategy for you guys.
Yeah, yeah, correct. So another thing is, guys, if anyone who is from India location, suppose you're from Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, Noida, Gurgaon, or some other locations. So these are some of the prime locations for the cloud professionals. If I'm talking about the job profile, again here in India also, we have around 30 to 40 type of jobs available in cloud industry. And salary structure, it depends on multiple parameter, but the range is somewhere between, average range is somewhere between 8 lakhs to 50 lakhs. I'm not talking about the maximum. Maximum people are getting 70s, 80, 90, 1 CR plus. 1 CR plus also people are getting. But I'm talking about the average salary. Somewhere is between 8 lakhs to 50 lakhs. This is the average salary range. Suppose I'm going to start my career in cloud computing. Maybe I'm average candidate as a fresher. Maybe you'll get opportunity to work in cloud computing. The salary will be 8 lakhs or 9 lakhs only. Same time, maybe you're the part of industry since last 4 years. Maybe your salary will be 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs. It depends on multiple parameter. And the prime location is Delhi NCR, Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai. These are some of the prime location for the cloud professionals. Third is Canada. Fourth is UK. So guys, in Canada, same. The structure is same, but these are some of the prime cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. So these are some of the prime locations. Average salary range is somewhere between 100 to 160. I'm not talking about the minimum or maximum, guys. Minimum
And
get 90 or maybe
this
300
this
also.
And behind this data, Aradhya and other COE leaders have done great research. We have talked to recruiters. In fact, some of our members are working as recruiters and hiring managers and directors and VPs for multiple places. They are silent in the group. That does not mean that they are not there. Um, so this is backed up with research, with data, which we do. Sometimes we'll do 2 weekly or we'll do monthly basis. We get you the data. Now this data does not mean that everybody will go to Canada, everybody will go to US. There are a lot of things like immigration. There are various other factors. So please join our global career services group where you can discuss your things on a case by case basis, and we will try to give you guidance on those kind of uh, non technical subjects as well. Okay, so you are not alone, is what we're trying to say, and you get the best guidance from experts at. So the expert on immigration does not need to be Aaradhya or Sanjay, right? It can be an expert in the industry who has gone through a seen life, gone through these kind of troubles, such as you. There may be some members who have gone through similar kind of challenges. So when you join a course with the COE, when you join a program with one of the great mentors like Aradhya, you're not just getting a program learning only about Azure. You are getting a complete industry guidance regardless of what the challenge is. Back to Radhya.
Yeah. So guys, so US and India is not only one. These two are not only these two prime location. Apart from these, Canada, United Kingdom, and Gulf countries like Abu Dhabi, Dubai. They are the prime location. If you're from European location, so Germany, Netherlands, Ireland, UK, they are the prime locations. Similarly, guys, if you're from Australia, so number fifth is Australia. Number six is some of the other countries from Europe like Netherlands, Ireland, and Germany, Singapore, and UAE. So these are some of the prime location, guys. Apart from it, we have some other location, but getting opportunity as an engineer will not be easy for you guys. For example, Korea and China, Japan. Over there, we have the language barrier. For us, it's not easy to learn the language like Mandarin, Chinese, or Japanese. So because of the barrier, language barrier, people are struggling. So for Indian, if anyone who is from India location, for them it's not a prime location. Prime location are the location which I am mentioning here, like UAE, Gulf countries, Singapore, Australia, European, EU, you can say EU, India.
Hey, hey, hey,
Now,
Ardha,
yeah,
by the way, early in my career, when I was still in college, I learned Japanese as one of the languages. Right?
yeah,
I learned it because it was very popular back then. I had done a university course on it, and that helped me a lot when I was talking to later in my life when I talked to the different clients. It was helpful. But yes, as you rightly pointed out, it is not easy for everyone to learn a second language. If
yeah,
you have a hobby, if you've learned it in school, college, wherever, it's a nice thing to have.
yeah,
But the real language is not Kannada, is not Malayalam, is not Hindi, is not English. The real language is the language of Azure. The language, if you can show people, regardless of whether you speak Russian or German or Chinese or Mexican, you will be surprised, guys. A lot of people come to us, they are from Russia or Germany. English, if somebody comes from Mexico, English is not their first language. Everybody that looks like a Gora skin, I will call it Gora skin, is not, you don't have to believe that their English is excellent either, right? So it is a language of Azure, the terms, the technologies, the scenario. If you learn that, that will take you forward in the long term, not the mastery of one particular language. But yeah, it helps.
yeah.
Uh,
Correct.
Aradhya, you're showing some global companies using Azure. Can you
Correct.
talk a little bit
Correct.
about
Correct.
where the
So,
opportunities are? Yeah.
correct. Lots of people around think that if you'll get opportunity outside India, then only you'll get opportunity. But the fact is, if you're working in IT industry or non-IT industries, you'll get opportunity in India as well as outside India. For example, if I'm talking about the Indian companies like Mahindra, TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, L&T, TCS, other companies from Tata, even SBI Bank, PNB, Reliance, Airtel, Kotak, Ultratech, Hindustan Unilever, Godrej, Dabur India Limited, Maruti, Tata Steel, Adani, Hiranandani Group. Uh,
Wow.
all these companies nowadays, almost all
Wow,
these
wow,
companies
wow.
are using
Yeah,
Azure.
we don't have to read out everything. But I know, Aradhya, many of your students, either in the past or recent, we've had so many success where people, I mean, we have guests today from Ranjan Ji from Microsoft, we had Sudhanshu from an airlines industry or aviation industry. So, and I can see lots and lots of your students have been placed in these kind of industries.
Yeah,
So, what kind of or maybe you want to talk through the slide that you have how to tips to increase this thing
yeah.
globally. How do you do how does
Correct.
one do that?
So normally what happens, usually I recommend everyone to focus on the practical. Don't focus on the theory. Region, we are the human being. If I'll cover theory or you're trying to memorize the theory, you'll forget everything maybe after a day or week or month. So usually what I do, I prefer to cover each and everything practically. So 90 to 95% time, I'm focusing on the practical implementation. Around 85%, sharp 85% on practical, 10% on architecture designing, use case study, and other activities. Apart from it means I'm covering each and everything practically. Same time, if you are learning, if you are practically implementing, it will help you to gain the confidence. Apart from it, if you're from India or you're from outside. So if you're from outside India, so guys, it's a mandatory to have at least one or two certificates, cloud certificate. For example, 900, DP203, 305, 104. These are some of the certification which you guys can target. If you're
and
from
and and are they you're absolutely right because sometimes I'll tell you while certificates are not absolutely a requirement, but where it helps is if you are certified, your resume gets a push. Uh, especially, this is especially true of people abroad where certifications are seen as a a kind of a good to have thing because it shows that you have been you know you have spent the extra hours, you have taken the time, you have gone through the pains of understanding what's inside a certification. The paper itself does not mean anything, but they ask you some, they know that at least this guy has done some efforts, he's trying to get recognized, he's writing articles on LinkedIn, he's working with the true professionals, he's connected with, like if I was and somebody with 1 year experience, somebody in Azure, I want to make myself known. So if I see your LinkedIn and I see that you are not in your connections, you are not connected to people related to Azure, but you are connected to Shah Rukh Khan, you are connected to Modi ji, although you are connected to Virat Kohli. These people are all very good. They're all good icons from different industries. But if you are not connected to uh, people in the industry and you're not giving your showing that you're doing something to stand out, then people feel that this guy is only about food or Instagram or YouTube or fancy things, or they don't care enough about the industry, our industry, right? IT industry.
Yeah, you're right. 100% right. So one more point, guys. We have to leave our social media footprint. I'm not talking about the Facebook, Instagram. I'm talking about the LinkedIn. So this is one of the professional social media platform. I'll suggest you guys to leave your footprint. For example, first, it's a mandatory to have a LinkedIn profile and it should be updated. It should be in a proper structure. So on certain intervals, he is also organizing some session where you can join and get the advantage how exactly we should build our social media footprint here.
Aradhya, I want to add specifically, and this is my strong one of the strong points I want to make as a mild suggestion. And if you can see, the real people are inside the seminars. The people who are lazy, They are not. Now, what happens is, if you go to Ryan, has anybody seen the profile of a guy called Ryan on LinkedIn? Ryan? Sanjay? The reason I say this is because figure out who the CEO of LinkedIn is. This is your homework, guys. Figure out who the CEO of LinkedIn is. He controls a platform which has 1.5 billion users, right? And if you look at his interviews with the industry people on let's say LinkedIn Path. So there is something called as LinkedIn Path, and that contains a series of interviews where he's either himself giving an interview or he's conducting interviews from different people in the industry. You will realize uh, that that they are extremely valuable for you guys. Okay, so try that at home once you're free. The other thing I wanted to say was, never mind that. There's a lot to learn, guys. Please join the Global Career Researchers group. There are so many things I want to say every time we have these webinars, seminars, and we are so grateful to our guests who come here. They are not guests. I mean, guest is a word used for seminar. The host and the guest is like a generic word that we use because it's a webinar or a seminar. But these people are one of us. They have been in your shoes. People like Sudhanshu, people like Ashish Ranjan, they have been in your shoes and they're willing to guide you guys. So take advantage of it, please. Ardha, do we have any closing remarks? Because I think it's time for us to slowly wrap up and yeah.
So one more suggestion from my side, guys. If you are active on, if you're not active, then I'll suggest you guys to be active on LinkedIn. On regular basis, just write your blogs. Just speak in webinars. I'll suggest all of you to join the webinars and you will learn. If you're not joining, if you're just watching the movie, you will not learn anything. You'll just enjoy. Just go sleep, enjoy. But if you're joining the webinars, you're speaking in seminars or webinars, definitely you will learn. There'll be some learning. You'll get some output. Similarly, if you're regular on certain interval basis, you are writing some blog, it will be learning for you guys. And just leave your social media footprint. Whenever I'm talking about the social media, I'm talking about the LinkedIn. Over there, you just write your blogs. Whenever there's some webinars, just try to join the webinars, events you're organizing webinar almost every weekend. So what you guys can do, you can join here also. Apart from it, guys, now another question normally people are asking, hey, I'm working in support program, I'm working as an admin, I'm working as a developer. Is it possible for me to join? So yes, doesn't matter from which background you are. This is nutshell, guys. In nutshell, I would say, doesn't matter what type of profile you are holding. If you're working as an architect, you are working as a data professional, you are working any type of admin, you are working any type of development language like SharePoint, .NET, PHP, Python, AngularJS, Node.js. So you guys can move towards the cloud computing. Similarly, if anyone who is working as a manager, maybe you're working as a tester or test manager, you're working as a system professional, developer, or support engineer. So guys, you guys can start your career with the Microsoft Azure Cloud Computing region. In Azure Cloud Computing, we have around 30 to 40 type of jobs available in the market. For example, if I'm talking about storage only, there's a service name is storage account. So in storage account, you'll get the storage security expert, storage backup expert, storage admin, storage architect. So guys, one service but 4 or 5 type of jobs available on one service. So similarly, Microsoft is offering hundreds of services. There are varieties of jobs available. And try to learn something. Otherwise, what happened? A person who is a part of industry since last 10 year, 5 year, or 15 year. After that, a day will come up whenever you have to leave the organization or the company will ask you to resign. At that day, what people are saying, they are calling.
I will go ahead and say the days today because it's happening across the board. I mean, you see about 150,000 100,000 layoffs across the board from big companies as well as small companies, because everybody is trying to save money. Everybody wants to get a person who knows, at least the cloud and then the basic foundational skills. But I want to quickly, before we wrap up, I want to quickly go around the room to see if Atik or Simran or Vishnu or anybody has, or Animesh has any last minute questions, because I think we have covered these in seminars.
Yeah.
But if they have that, they're welcome for the next 5 minutes, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to have more seminars, more questions, but it's up to you guys to join, because we can only spoon feed only this much.
So Vishnu, Simran, Sai, Raj, Amish, Atik,
Animesh,
any question?
guys, you have to show that you're alive. You have some
Sir,
questions. It can be
I've just
something, yeah.
sir, one question, sir. Since I'm applying job in UK, sir, and though I'm getting some calls, so any plan for the Azure security track, sir? I can see there are a lot of demand in UK about the Azure security architecture, guys. In future, sir.
Yes, in future we can. We can plan.
Surely, I mean, yeah, because we are a growing organization. Every time something new is coming up, there are courses that are updated, upgraded. So absolutely, we'll take a session. Thank you for saying that, Atik. And Atik, you may not know that you inspired a lot of people, because I took your last post that you did on me, and I showed to many UK people that people are saying UK is dead after all the changes happened in UK. The Prime Minister changed, the economy is too bad, they're not getting any offers. And I showed them how many Azure opportunities we are getting in the market, and they were shocked. So thank you for doing that, Atik.
Oh, no problem, sir.
Anybody else, guys?
Yeah, there's a question from
Animesh?
Sai. There's a question, he pinged a question. Sai is saying
Sai,
he's
please.
from construction project management. Could you please tell me how big of a leap will it be for me?
Okay, you want to take that?
So, yeah, I mean, if you want, you can, otherwise I'll explain. So, Sai, can you please unmute? And we just want to know your background,
Hi.
like your qualification, current experience, company, and some other things.
So,
Hi,
Sai,
can
the
you
way
listen to
we'll
me
work
now?
is we will give you some generic tips right now. But I would love to have, if you are a part of the Global Career Services group, please, or if you're not a part, join it. And I would love to have your resume on LinkedIn and give you a detailed analysis of your resume, along with how you can move to this and what you can get out of it. Because you already have some experience in a particular domain. How you can take the best advantage of it, we'll show you.
Okay, Aaradhy, I'll do that. Thank you.
Or you want to pitch into to give this answer? So this kind of question generally comes up, and yeah, definitely, if you're looking up for Azure or Azure related services, it's a very good thing. So the answer lies within you, how fast you want it. Okay. So you have to, be very committed, take step by step, and definitely you will be able to reach there. So
it's like almost saying, are there, the last time we did this seminar, we did with people from banking, from production, from different walks. So they had the same question when they started. I mean, there was I forget this girl's name, but I think it was Tripti, right? She was working in a bank. It had nothing to do with Azure, nothing to do with, she was not major in IT, but she had a similar question. I am from XYZ background. How do I move? What advantage do I get? And now she is advising other people on Azure. She is known as a recognized expert. She got 100% hike. So your education, forget your education, guys. Your education could be in finance. Your education could be in production. Your education could be a civil engineer. Your education could be anything. Education is not the only guide. Sanjay here. Sanjay, what's your education in? Okay, anyhow. So Sanjay has been a chemical engineer, right? So people have come from all different walks of life. Sanjay is a Microsoft trainer. Aradhya was not a computer science graduate. Aradhya is a graduate in other specialization in engineering. So regardless of what it is, you can make it. Is the short answer. And I would love to have you in Global Career Resources Group, where I go for a deep dive into those specific answers.
You know what, Arun? In one of my organization, previous organization, one of the tech director, he was a carpenter in his earlier days. Then he
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many. It's true. You know, I was once working for when I initially started in US. I started working for a very big firm, and the CEO there was a big man at IBM, and he was black, and he was a big man, right, at IBM, and he took a seminar for all of us, and you know what he said? He said, guys, in your days, and he was 20 years senior to all of us, so obviously, and he said, Arun, I'm coming from a situation in US where my mother worked as a janitor. And he said this in front of thousands in the audience without any shame. He said, we came from a African American community, and 60 years back in the United States, even in the big advanced country like United States, there were certain challenges where they did not allow our community to be forward. And when he said, he gave us some tips, tricks, and techniques, and he told us it's not the language, it's not where you came from, what education you did. It is how you take the mentoring and develop yourself in your lives. And he was standing as a CEO. I think, VP level guy, board level guy in IBM. After that, for many years. After that, he started his own consulting firm, and even now of course he's become too old. Uh, but I was deeply moved by his story, and I keep sharing these kind of wisdom nuggets because what has changed me, what has changed Aradhya, what has changed Sanjay, what has changed Akriti, what has changed Ashok. All of us have a story. What changed Satish Ranjan was a story. What changed Sudhanshu has been a great story. If we keep listening to stories and never act now, you are doing yourself a disservice. If you listen to these stories, whether it is Virat Kohli, whether it is anybody remarkable, you hear their stories and you think, I learned something new. I'm going to follow that. I'm going to act today. That's when you start changing, guys. Any other last minute question? I have 1 more minute for one more question.
Actually, myself, Raj, right? So I am working in IT industry from last 10 years. I am in the database side, right? So now I start learning the Azure and all that. So I just want to know that, right, for to learn this Azure, it's required mandatory to learn the DevOps and all that.
It's a pretty common question. Aaradhya, please go ahead.
So first, here nothing is mandatory, but there is no shortcut available. So usually Microsoft recommending in case you're applying to learn the DevOps, you can learn, but every time it's not mandatory. It's good to have. But so usually what you can do, you can start your career with a particular learning path, just complete your learning path. For example, suppose you're applying to apply as a developer, admin, architect, or data engineer. So first, just complete your learning curve in last. Last means maybe after 6 months or 1 year, you can, if you are interested toward the DevOps side, then that also you can learn. But it's not a must to have, it's a good to have.
Okay, got it.
And normally what mistake people are doing, normally lots of people are calling me, they're saying, hey, I'm planning to go for the DevOps directly. I don't know ABCD, but I'm planning to go for the DevOps. So it is just wastage of time and money. Usually what I recommend to thoroughly implement everything, just spend few months on Azure cloud computing, learn various of services like 34 services. For example, in our Azure master program, we are covering
Yeah, it's like saying you're going for a specialization directly in one of the roles without building your foundation. So it's like without building your basic foundation, you're running to do something that will that will probably get you a job with some tricks and everything on LinkedIn and resume optimization, and somebody prepares you for interviews, you can get a job. But beyond getting the job, there is sustaining that job in actual life, and you will realize within 3-4 months, oh my lord, if if only I had done my foundational services very well, today I would be in less than 25% stress. Stress will always be there. Some sort of stress in actual life is always there.
Yep.
But you can minimize the stress by building a very strong foundation with our master's program in Azure.
Yeah, one more
Okay.
thing. If
Aradhya, one more
yeah,
question, right? Like you are telling that, right? Practical we need to do in the cloud and all that. So how to remember the things, right? I'm going through the Azure Data Factory and all that, right? So options are available at the time I'm doing. I may be compatible, right? But after 1 week and all that, it's again I have to watch the
okay.
recording and all that, right? So
Yeah.
how
So
to remember
uh,
any trick or something like
yeah.
that?
So everyone doesn't have same level of IQ. So in that case, what you can do, first focus whenever you're attending the session, make sure that time you are in a session only. Don't focus here and there. Point number one. After the session, what you can do, if possible, then just play the recording, watch the recording one more time. And most important part is whatever I'm covering, make sure you implement it. This is the third point. And on regular basis, we are running the Kahoot game. In every session, in the live session, we are running the Kahoot game. Make sure you participate it. Plus, whenever in different groups I'm running the Kahoot game, just join there also and practically implement. Plus, if
Also, what
possible,
I've
then
seen,
discuss.
one great thing I've seen in groups of Aradhya and our other instructors is people form buddies. So your buddy is no longer the friend who invites you every day for beer or for coffee. Your friend, your tribe becomes people like Sanjay, becomes people like Aradhya, become people like me, become people like, I mean, so you have to gather people from background, and you have to discuss these kind of what's happening in the industry,
Good.
what kind of
Right.
questions. So if you remain a part of this kind of a thing, then you are in the game.
So I'll share my one of experience guys. In during the initial days of my training, most of the candidates were from south part of India, like Hyderabad and Bangalore. These were the two prime location. One common thing I'll tell you, that time most of the candidates were below average. Below average means salary was 4 lakh, 5 lakh, 6 lakh. In current situation, around 60% candidates are outside India. And the whatever the candidates are inside India, in most of the cases, their salary structure is very high. Why? The reason they were from the same company, from the same team, from the same location, or they were friend. So if you are joining with your friends, your colleagues, so most of the time you'll be available with them in your office. That time, if you have any question, you can discuss in your own language. Or if
So
you have issue, call me directly. Monday to Friday, I'm available. You don't need to hesitate morning time. What you can do, directly call me. Morning 7:30 to 11 o'clock. This is another time when I'm completely free. You can
in
call.
addition, in addition, what has helped out there, what I've seen from your batches is, or what I've seen other batches also, like there are senior students, there is alumni people. You make friends with them slowly, gradually, in the right way. You
Yeah.
set up a time with them, because even they are willing. Aradhya, of course, is the ultimate expert, right? But there are some senior students. For example, there is a student called Shubham. There are many other students, right? So these people are willing to help. There's Gaurav. There's so many people that are willing to help you if you ask them.
Yep. Yep. So Raj and others. Raj, Animesh, Sai, Simran, Vishnu, all of you, I'll suggest you guys to join this group. I'm just sharing here.
And go talk to your friends, guys. Go talk to your friends. Uh, if your friends, because in many cases where we saw in many batches where people joined with a friend. When you join with a friend, then you have a partner with whom you are, traveling a journey. It's like saying, you want to go for a jogging every day. If you go alone for jogging, you get demotivated. Every once in a while, you get demotivated, right? But if you're joining with two or three other friends, you're a part of a group, they're doing the same thing. Sometimes it's very, very helpful. It's very, very impactful if you choose the right set of friends.
Yeah, correct. Even I tell you, Arun, Tripti Joshi, and there are lots of people who are in the same batch, even Shubham Verma, Gaurav Verma, Tripti Joshi, Shobhi Sharma. So in that way, so one thing was common, 50% candidates were from IT background and 50% from non-IT. And the selection rate is almost 100% except one, name is Sambhu Kumar. What
Right.
he was not attending the session, he was just joining and he was not responding, he was not answering question, he was not on his seat even. So what happened? And this was one case only. I mean, success rate of batch was 100% except one candidate, name was Sambhu Kumar.
It's very obvious. And what happens guys is, you know, when you work, you are sitting, let's say you're an IT person, you're sitting somebody from non-IT, and you're thinking, oh, what does the other person know? We know better because they are from non-IT. Guys, I will tell you with experience from almost all our batches that non-IT people are actually doing 10 times better because they don't take anything for granted. They are listening to the notes, listening to the recording. They are attentive in the class, and in many cases they've started drawing much more salaries with better hikes than an IT person. So we have data not only from Azure, but data engineering, our SQL batches, our all kind of batches. We run like 10 different things.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think Aradhya, it must be late in
Yeah.
India, so I
Correct.
will wrap up now.
Sure,
And
sure.
thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Stanshu.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Ashish Ranjan. And we will welcome you again whenever you want to. You know, we have another seminar. We can share different types of things with the students to help them get better in their lives. So thank you for motivating all the students, Sudhanshu and Ashish Ranjan. Thank you so much, and thank
Thank
you to
you.
all the audience
Thank you,
members.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.